As he comes forward, we're going to use the gallbladder cluster points, the one above the eye, the one above it, and the one here, in a double motion, slapping him back that way. And again, we would be using that same 1-2 motion where we would be hitting him as he comes forward. If he was a taller individual, right, I'm going to just sink down a little bit. If he was taller, instead of coming to these points, we would double up on the jaw points. So basically, that's a height thing that you want to work with your partner. If your partner is taller than you, you shoot under the jaw. If your partner ends up lower than you, you come right to the forehead. In a real situation, basically, you can see that when he's here, all I see is the forehead. The jaw is out of reach for me, so that's where I go. If we reversed it and he did it to me and hit both my arms, he would see jaw, and that's where he would go. So you won't really have to search for the points. You'll just know which one to hit because it's the most vulnerable point. That's a part of what we always try to do, is hit what's closest, shortest distance, and most susceptible. When the head is stretched back, all of these points are being stretched off of the neck, and they're extra sensitive. So as he grabs, as we hit these points, there's some, just like off 1 second, I want to just show the angle. We're not coming in, and we're not coming down. If you hit them down, you're going to miss them because the points are on the outside of the arm. We're hitting them this way, almost like you want to hug yourself, like this. So if he was very weak or you were extremely powerful and you did it right, you would end up this way. But because both of his arms are there, you end up getting stuck in this position and reverse it. And you want to always breathe out when you do the move and step. And in. Now, we're always going to add that front kick afterwards, assuming that he doesn't fall. If we hit him in the forehead or hit him in the jaw and he drops, great. If he doesn't, he's going to be starting to move away from us. If he comes in and he moves away, I've done this, I've hit him, I don't want to have to chase him to hit him again. So what all I'm going to do is my weight is already on the leg. I'm here, I've hit him. I can't use this foot because my weight's here already, but this foot is going to catch up to him nicely. Once his head comes down, we could take any of the points that we learned, we can throw him to the ground. We basically have our choice of what we want to do. In this position, if you even wanted to end with a nice knee smash, this is a good spot for that. So as he grabs, all right, we're going to just put the padding there. We're going to hit the outside arm points like we want to cross our arms, and we drop our weight. So we don't just step, we drop. So this way body weight comes in, we shoot, boom, and we catch as we come in. As soon as we do that, this is here. Finish off with a knee smash, finish off with a neck twist, push him to the ground. At that point, he should be very injured. All right, let's try it from the other side. On a slight angle this way. Okay, so as he grabs, the arm points rolling in. And when you strike the arm points, you have two focuses. One can be the fist, and one can be the ulnar bone, this little bone here. So you could basically be hitting with the forearm or with the fist. It's kind of your choice. Practice both. Hit it down, strike out, and kick, and follow up. Okay, we're going to continue now with choking. Choking is a lot more dangerous than grabbing. The main reason being is if your partner chokes you in practice, this doesn't feel like all that much because he's not choking you, but if he digs in, it's very uncomfortable. When that happens, your mind is going to change. You're going to start to get nervous and you're going to start panicking. What we want to do is we want to prevent that from happening. So as soon as he starts to choke, basically the same area he's putting pressure on, you're going to put pressure on. We're going to use the fingertips, we're going to poke right into that area. So as he chokes with both hands, one arm's going to come up to his arm to control. We're not going to grab yet. This is going to poke in, which makes him move away. What that did was left this hand open, and he went from this distance to this distance. From there, we're going to use that point in the corner of the hand, the triple warmer 3-point, and we're going to put our thumb pressure onto that point, allowing us to help twist his wrist. We're going to use the wrist lock on that point to bring him to the ground. So as he goes down, we're going to pin him by dropping our knee onto the rib point. Boom. From here, we're going to switch hands. We can lock the elbow if we want. And using our thumb, we're going to go into the triple warmer point, twist it, and press it to the ground until he taps. Okay, a way to finish him off would be to strike to the same area with the palm of the fist, or you can strike the jaw with the palm as it's exposed here. If you just wanted to pin him and hold it there, you can do that also, and you have a nice controlling technique. So as he comes back up, we're going to show it from the opposite side. He's choking. If your hands are down and you poke, by the time you reach up to grab, this hand will no longer be there. So right away, somebody grabs you, no matter where they grab you, you want to grab them back. But we don't want to lock his arm tight because we want to let it move. So we just lay the palm across it. We poke, he goes back, we take the wrist, we put the thumb into here, We use both thumbs, we step back, and we bring him down. We put our knee onto his ribs. We switch and twist the arm. We have the elbow locked. He cannot punch you. He cannot kick you. He can't do anything. Now he starts to struggle. We use our thumb. We put it behind the jaw. And we pin his head to the ground. If his head doesn't touch the ground and you're here, he can wiggle out. So you want his head coming to the ground. And you use your weight. And if you want to finish him, palm into that point, back to front 45 degrees. Or if his head is up and you never did that point, palm right into the jaw that way. Okay, we're going to show it from the back angle. This way you can catch some of the finer points maybe you missed from one of the other angles. So he's going to choke, poke, spin him down, kneel. Switch hands and roll so the elbow's on your knee. Thumb goes in, pressure going down. Or palm strike going down. And if you like to grapple, this is a perfect position to step over and basically drop into the armbar nice and easy. Okay, I'm going to have him drop one arm. This way you can actually see what we're doing here. So this arm's dropped. Just imagine it's there. We're shooting up through the center under his line of sight. We're coming into the hole. And in a real situation, it's going to be quick. For now, we just press. Once we have the distance we need, we go for the wrist twist and continue from there. Okay, we're going to work from a side choking hold. The side choking hold is basically somebody has you down this way and they're cranking on your neck. It's uncomfortable, but to actually pass out from a hold like that is almost impossible. Basically, in order for a choke to be effective, both sides of the neck need to be constricted. So if we have him in a choking position this way, this arm chokes this side, this arm chokes that side, immediately he's going to tap. If we have him in a side headlock, we're really only putting pressure on one side. So while it's uncomfortable, you still have time to think and time to react. What we want to do, a lot of times the choke is on and people will see, hey, I could punch him in the groin area. In a sense, that's a bad tactic because if he's leaning forward and applying pressure and you hit him here, which way is he going to go? He's going to go forward more and squeeze you harder. And the worst thing that could happen is if he falls to his knees and takes you to the ground with him. So what we're looking to do is get him from this position to this position. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to strike the leg point right where the fingertip comes down, gallbladder 31. We're going to punch this one either with a fist or with our foreknuckles. And we're going to strike the kidney point, gallbladder 25, at the same time. Both of those points, when struck, cause his body to straighten out. Once his body straightens out and his head comes up, we're going to apply fingertip pressure, rubbing on this point, to stretch out his center line. And then we're going to use our hammer fist to hit the bladder points, the lower ones below the belly button, to bring him down to the ground. So it's going to look something like this. We're going to show it from this angle, then we'll turn so you get the fine points. As he grabs, you turn your chin in. By doing that, you relieve some of the pressure. You're going to find his knee, you find the side point, this point's going to form this hand, and we're going to hit it. Once that happens, you're pretty much out. Now you want to keep him from re-grabbing you. We're going to reach over and press. Now that he's all stretched, this is going to come in and drop him down to the ground. And in reality, you're going to hit it much harder, and he's going to basically stay there. So you're in position, 1, 2, 3. One thing you also want to do is when you go to hit him, your left foot, step a little bit wider. Otherwise, as you go to stretch him backwards, he may start to walk away, and you lose your opportunity to finish him. Remember, once he grabbed you, he doesn't get away. You keep him close till you finish him. You don't want to knock him away and have to recapture him again. Right now, this is a simple attack. He's grabbing you. Everything you need to finish him off is there. If you let him create distance, now he comes back with punches. It requires a lot more skill to deal with. We're going to show it from the opposite angle, using the same hand. So from here. Okay. Turn it this way. Now just try to catch the back point. We're going to come into the leg. This point here, hit. Reach over, stretch. This leg is basically here so that if he starts to fall, you're here supporting his weight. He can't get away. And then we're going to pound down onto the belt, dropping him. Okay? Ready? Let's try it from this angle. All right, last one. All right, so he's here, we hit. I'm going to use the palm so I don't hurt him this time. Stretch and hammer, dropping him down. And when you throw that hammer to the ground, right in this area, 45 degrees, down and in. And at that point, if he's not out, you can finish him or get away. Okay, we're gonna deal with the rear headlock. The rear headlock is somebody is behind you. A big part of self-defense is awareness, and if you allow somebody to get that close behind you, you weren't very aware of what was going on. So right away, you're working from a position of disadvantage. One thing that you have to prevent from happening is if the choke is being applied and you start to get pulled backwards, it's very difficult to get out of it. So basically, as soon as he goes to apply the choke, we want to drop our weight to prevent from being pulled backwards. So now he has the choke, but he can't bring me to this position where my body can't function. What I'm going to do immediately is with one of my feet, I'm going to try to stomp backwards on one of the leg points and elbow into the rib point, whichever arm is free. So he's choking, stomp, elbow. From here, my thumb is going to go into the heart 2 point to give me a good grip. And I'm going to turn into him. As I put the pressure, he starts to dip this way. I'm going to use the right arm and using the elbow, turn back, and I'm either going to hit him in the gallbladder 20 point or the point of my elbow is going to catch him behind the jaw. So it's going to be coming either this way or into this point like that. Both points are in the same spot and either one that you hit will have the same function. So as he grabs, I'm going to breathe a little bit, pull down, strike, turn, elbow going across, just like that. Some reason, whatever happens, you hit him, he doesn't fall, we're going to shoot back under the jaw point with the palm. We always have extra options. So one more time. We're going to breathe, stomp, elbow, rotate in, strike, and back. All right, let's just try it from a different angle. Let's bring him this way. Okay, so we're going to breathe down, elbow into the rib using the point, stomp, rotate, keep the thumb pressure in here, elbow across, palm shooting up. The most important part of this technique is breathing so that you have time to think, dropping your weight. The elbow, if you do it right, you can cause good effect. Mostly it's just a distraction technique on this side to allow you to spin to this side. So don't spend too much time on it. And when you do the elbow, if your arm is here, you're hitting him low on his stomach. We don't want to go near the muscle, so we raise the arm. This way the point of the elbow catches him into the rib. Most likely somebody that does this technique on you is going to be taller. So if I'm doing it to John and I have him here, if he elbows and he's loose, he's hitting my stomach right now and my hip. But if he keeps a tight, high elbow as he comes in, he's coming in towards the rib point. So when you throw the elbow, instead of throwing it this way, throw it this way, almost like a karate chamber. Throw it back. This way the point digs in, most likely catching these points or that corner point there. Okay, what we're going to cover now, we went from the basic grabs, basic strangling techniques. We're going to do double arm grabs like bear hugs and rear bear hugs. First one we're going to do is a common attack in women's self-defense situation where a person's going to come up and grab under the arms and squeeze nice and tight. Right now we're very close. He's got a lot of strength. If you try the striking maneuver, you might not get the right leverage that you need. So we need to create some distance and put a little pain into him. We're going to come to this point here, Governor Vessel 26. We're going to rub, which sets him back. As soon as he sets back, if you'll notice, I've pinched this arm. So I don't want him going too far back. I'm controlling him. So as he grabs, we bring him back and we pinch. Immediately, we palm to the jaw. After the strike, we're going to hold. We're going to step through, and if this was a real situation, I'd want to dig my heel into the bladder points on the calf, 56, 57, 58, right at the top of the calf muscle. That would paralyze the calf muscle. For practice, we're just going to go through. So he's going to grab, we rub the point, we strike right away. We lock here, we lock the arm. We step, we bring him down. From this position, I'm applying pressure to that rub point on the back of the arm. So right from here, if I just rub my arm, I have the lock. I let the knee drop in, right, either on the kidney points or the liver point, and I apply the lock, and I have him controlled here. At any point, I could finish with a strike to the rib points or to the head of the neck points. So what we're using, we're releasing with this point, we're trapping the arm, we're striking the jaw point, we're taking him down and we're using the top of the calf point, either this one or this one, digging in with the heel, and then we're rubbing the back of the arm point 1 inch above the elbow to get the submission, and if we finish with a strike, it could be the